This guy is saying the Wuthering Waves community is becoming insufferable. Now, I will say, I think a lot of the irritability in the Wuthering Waves community has come from them having to deal with the Genshin Impact community for so long that it's driven them crazy. And let me tell you, when you're a sane human being and you have to deal with crazy people who won't leave you alone for years, it's enough to make you crazy too. And it fucking sucks. Trust me, I would know. And so I kind of understand why the Wuthering Waves community has become so more vitriolic in nature lately due to the fact that, well, think about what they had to deal with. It's like the same thing that happened when Nicholas was going to try Genshin Impact or Zenless Zone Zero. A lot of people were saying, nah, fuck that shit. Do not play that shit woo-wah better. And here's the thing, Wuthering Waves is better. You know, we can always let people try Genshin and Zenless Zone Zero because here's the thing, guys. Be more confident in your victories. You know Wuthering Waves is a better game regardless. If someone were to go play Genshin Impact after Wuthering Waves, do you really think they're going to enjoy it more? No, probably not. And if they do, well, then that's good, and they should play the game that they like. But yeah, let's watch this video here.
This is a disclaimer before the video starts. This video will not be covering anything related to the anniversary rewards in Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero. While on that subject matter, however, I am 100% aware that the ZZZ's community and their poor handling of the situation is no doubt a primary reason why we're in this predicament in the first place. With that being said, though, I believe a fight fire with fire approach was not the solution the Wuthering Waves community should have taken in response to this matter.
Yeah, it is. Hey, fuck them. They want to be annoying back. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Like, I totally get why people act this way. Because, like, I'm so tired of motherfuckers saying, be the bigger man, be the bigger man. Bro, dealing with these motherfuckers sucked ass. Like, legit. It sucked ass. It was like dealing with, like, fucking retarded children for years. Right? Like, you gotta understand, like, the reason why everybody's so upset with the Woo-Wah community is because we did exactly what Genshin Impact did to other players for years. Yeah, try playing Tower of Fantasy about Genshin Impact being brought up every 5 fucking seconds. Imagine playing anything slightly related to Genshin without it being brought up every 5 seconds. Brother, even their own games. When I try to play ZZZ, why aren't you just playing Genshin? When I try to play Hawkeye Star Rail, why are you just playing Genshin? And now the thing is, the Genshin community know they lost, and now they gon' cry. I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody for being like this.
This will only further escalate tensions between the communities, as all anyone ever wants to do,
good, fuck 'em, who cares,
is point fingers and say they started it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, so let's just be completely real. What's your name? Avocado Zodan? Which game came out first? Genshin, by 4 years. There's no way for Wuthering Waves to have started it since even before Wuthering Waves came out and the trailers were released, Genshin Impact was already saying that game will be dead in 1 fucking month. So just mathematically, we all know who started it, right? We all know who started it. Genshin Impact's player base punched first, and that is the bottom line. So let's just acknowledge the objective truths.
You know where the dislike button is should you disagree with my opinions on this matter. On with the video.
And the thing that might piss me off the most about this situation is this dude sitting here in this dev talk with a straight fucking face as he has this whole sheer force rupture fucking miasma mechanic just hidden in his asshole, right? Set on vibrate. What the fuck? You're talking about how you're gonna fix the fucking game. How you're gonna make sure that the game's in a better state and then introduce this fucking miasma mechanic.
I've heard a lot of bad things about some type of miasma mechanic and how Yi Zhuan apparently obliterates it and every other character struggles to beat it. And then I saw some guy tell me it wasn't an issue, but that guy was also using like M2'd units to beat it. So I got no idea what this shit's about, but I know that it's not released in the game yet. So I guess when it comes out, I'll find out for myself.
There's no way. Bro was actually just lying. He was actually just lying for 14 minutes.
The most noticeable change is in the map design. We've completely revamped the entire map experience and integrate the residential areas with combat zones at the system level. providing a move loop.
I mean, let's be real. I obviously got to take everything that Saint Tontas says versus ZZZ with a grain of salt. He is right about a lot of things, but let's just acknowledge he probably gets erect every single time he shits on Zenless Zone Zero. Let's just be real. He does. It is a fetish of his. So I just want to make sure before I go on any information that I can check it myself. And that goes for a lot of content creators as well. I think a lot of content creators are very thirsty to get a headline. And I'm going to wait and see for the miasma mechanic myself.
Engaging gameplay experience for practice. In Season 2, we've redesigned the travel system, changing from the original sliding area selection system to a larger map format. We're also improving the UI experience.
Okay.
We also added a mini-map to the interface, along with the navigation features. Proxies can now select their destination more quickly and gain a clear understanding of new areas' geographical layout. Every character is the result of our team's blood, sweat, and dedication. Our team has put in quite a bit of effort to ensure characters are relatively future-proof and have long-term value. Showcasing a character's charm isn't just about mindlessly beefing up their stats. While maintaining each character's unique traits, we will strategically enhance their unique traits, rather than just simply boosting their damage output.
Okay.
About a week ago, I made a video attempting to de-escalate the situation that was the fallout of two gacha communities clashing with each other despite both games being absent of any overlap in design or gameplay for someone to choose one over the other. Yet all it took was the Wuthering Waves 2.0 livestream reveal for any progress I could have made to be completely drowned.
Saint doesn't play ZZZ, so why is he talking? I believe Saint plays Zenless Zone Zero like almost as much as every other ZZZ content creator. I think that's a pretty shit take. I've actually seen Saint Tontas play a lot of ZZZ.
Found out by the obnoxious, loud, extremist Wuwa crowd to
But he's terrible at it. I mean, he's better than EO. People call EO good. So yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that's a shit take. Anyways.
resume their crusade of putting other games down, and in some cases, taking it a step beyond that. As someone who plays both, yet has a preference towards Zenless Zone Zero for its smaller scale and
he spreads misinfo on the miasma mechanic. Yeah, we'll see when it comes out.
Art style, you could say I've been deep in enemy lines for some time now, and the insane degree to which ZZZ lives rent-free in these people's heads is a level of tribalism I have never seen before. Not with the older generations of console wars, not with the Call of Duty versus Battlefield, not even with the previous attempts to dethrone Genshin Impact.
Then you weren't in there deep enough. It was horrible. It was so bad. It was so bad. Like, Genshin Impact players kind of admitted that they lost, though. They don't have a leg to stand on anymore. Genshin already knows they fucking got bodied. Right? I mean, even the Rev report shows that in global, Wuthering Waves is making more. So they got no leg to stand on right now. Yeah.
The amount of cherry-picking and omission of meaningful discussion is dizzying, to say the least, as ZZZ is only ever talked about with the intent to put a hit on it. You know, normally I don't think much about Saint being accused of not knowing how to play ZZZ, but when Caesar, the defense agent, is your aggregate for not doing any damage against this new boss in a heavily curated Yi Zhuan advertisement put out by ZZZ creators, then maybe you really shouldn't be speaking on matters of endgame content. The gross obsession with changes and implementations of endgame content content which never accounts for more than a couple hours total of stuff to do in any given month of a gacha's patch cycle, yet these CCs want you to believe that it's the only thing that matters in these games. The downplaying, outright ignoring, or even negative spin of the new welcoming features added to the game.
I do think that the end game is very, very, very important. I don't think we should be downplaying how important it is, right? Because it is something that people look forward to on a cycle, right? So making sure that it's well and properly balanced and enjoyable for all characters is, like, very important. Because, like, other than that, like, it's only a couple of hours. Okay. Well, like, on a day-to-day basis, you can really only do a couple minutes of meaningful content for, like, grinding your stamina. So, like, it is, like, the longest form of entertainment that you can have in the game.
And the constant need to label everyone.
And it is also what everybody's aiming to beat, right? Like, that's everybody's big goal, right? Like, if you were to play a game and the final boss was disappointing, it would ruin the game for you.
Within the space as some elitist loser or a mindless gooner. Not even Honkai Star Rail at the height
I don't think Zenless Zone Zero players are mindless gooners. I think they're enlightened gooners.
Of its negativity in version 3.0 was treated this unfairly, as despite the endgame power creep discussion continuing to break new records, the game was still given the decency to be judged fairly on its story and gameplay content. It wasn't good, mind you, but at least HSR had its day in court, so to speak. ZZZ, however, has not even been given the decency of speaking for itself. It's situations like this that genuinely make me believe that games like Zenless Zone Zero and even the upcoming Arknight's Enfield would fare far better if they were more niche titles that weren't thrusted into the mainstream's gaze, as all big names in the—
No, it's really good to be in the mainstream space because you're always being talked about. Like, Arikado Zoden, you know how I shit on Genshin Impact all the time? I guarantee you, even me shitting on Genshin Impact brings more players in that didn't know about the game than deter them, because people always want to try things for themselves, right? And I think that's great that everybody approaches everything with skepticism, right? So like, I know I bring a lot of people into Genshin, and probably a lot of people in my chat still play Genshin, even though I don't like it. And I'm okay with that. I don't care what game you play, right? As long as you're being respected as a consumer, that's all I care about. And that you're spending responsibly. So, you know, it is a good thing to be brought up in every conversation. Like, even being called the Genshin killer, people call it a death sentence. No, it's not. It's actually a great thing. It made a lot more people play TOF than originally would have.
gacha space are heading towards the same homogeneous, bland, and empty open world design that has been butchered by the very nature of how gacha game design dictates content and account progression implementation. To go off topic for a moment here, the reason why I have frequently praised Girls Frontline 2 in previous videos and will continue to do so is that Girls Frontline 2 has the advantage of being a genre of gacha game that is so far removed from the mainstream appeal that it completely removes itself from the Sauron's eye that is the post-Hoyoverse audience. It can do whatever it wants at whatever pace it wants while offering an experience you can't find anywhere else. And financially, it's doing just fine and carving out its own niche from the toxic, self-destructive breeding grounds that is the Big Four.
Yeah, I bet you it would have done better if it was in the conversation for like the biggest gacha games, right? Because that's just more publicity. And people need to understand any publicity is good publicity, straight up. Like, so like it probably would have just been doing better. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't really know what this comparison's for. And also, I believe Girls Frontline's revenue has been dropping off, besides their big unit with the girl who rides the motorcycle. So yeah, it probably would have done better if it was being talked about as much as the other games are.
Forget big enough.
But yeah, the Girls Frontline 2 community is nice, but I don't really think game developers make games and think, I just really want my community to be nice. I think they think, how much money can we get?
To get our own unique label like Hoyo Schiller.
Tectone ZZ is a side gacha though. Every gacha is a side gacha. No gacha is a main gacha. Every gacha is a side gacha.
Or Kurobot. Maybe we can get something related to feet. If any of you that watch me on the regular take issue with St. Tontos and wonder why I hang around with his community, I guess now's the best time for me to explain. Truth be told, my opinions of the #1 Kurobot were mixed for the longest time before I made my original critique of him some time ago. With time, I learned to live with the idea of keeping someone around who I would disagree with at times, as I found it helpful for myself to learn and have perspective on those whom I don't share opinions with, especially now since I am a content creator and it is in my best interest to not develop a closed-off mindset. While on the topic of Saint, I very much appreciate what he has done for the growth of my channel, as well as his community. I thank you guys very much. However, I have indeed been disappointed with his approach to critique at times. For example, his react to my apples to orange video, while generally agreeing together on some subject matters in the video, I felt as if his react missed the point of the discussion, as Saint would frequently take opportunities in the video to put down ZZZ inside the reaction to a video that was attempting to tell both sides to turn down the heat. Wuthering Waves as a game was a late bloomer in the gacha scene. It wasn't until the release of 2.0 that the game could finally step out of the shadow that was Genshin Impact and deliver something truly awe-inspiring. Zenless Zone Zero in—
I would say that's a pretty fair take. I think Wuthering Waves 2.0 completely saved the game. 1.0's launch was insane, but after very weak patches like 1.2, it kind of fell to the wayside, and a lot of player interest was dropping rapidly. But 2.0 just fucking slam dunked it, bro. Like 2.0 was fucking insane. Like Wuthering Waves is doing so good now that it's even actually overtaken Genshin Impact interest in a lot of like key demographics. Like I think what's the good Korea and what's the bad Korea? North bad, South good. Yeah, I know. Wuthering Waves player interest is actually higher in South Korea than Genshin Impact, which is like a huge metric to fucking take over.
In that same regard is a flower that has yet to bloom. Yet despite this, everyone is looking for an opportunity to choke the very life out of it in the wake of their crusade against Genshin Impact and their 5-year-long dissatisfaction with it long after they have stopped playing it. Now, coupled with the recent implosion that was Honkai Star Rail. Is Zenless Zone Zero dead? No, it's not dead. An incomplete and accurate revenue chart is not the smoking gun you think it is. At best, it's a smoking pipe with how many times you people take a hit off of it and start spewing nonsense. Zenless
Zone Zero is doing fine. But the good news is it's doing the worst out of all the big Hoyo games, which means the developers are going to listen the most. Remember, guys, the less a game makes, the less the characters wear. The less a game makes, the more the developers listen.
Zone Zero, as a game, will continue to do its thing regardless of what the rabid online crowd will have you think. If you are someone who continues to enjoy ZZZ, do not engage with those looking to stir the pot. They had their chance to be reasonable when Hoyoverse removed the TV mode from the game as an extension of goodwill, and they reciprocated that goodwill by mocking Hoyo at every turn as a company who can only do right by removing content. The very same content they themselves wanted removed.
Yeah, but you don't see how that's like a bad thing though? Because like, let's be real, like Zenless Zone Zero making good changes is removing like the bad content. And that happens like so many, like for example, like what's the biggest change that people want from Genshin Impact right now? Remove what days you have to be on in order to farm specific talents and materials, right? Like the biggest, best changes that Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and ZZ can make are removing the content that nobody wants to do, right? Like the biggest thing that people want in HSR is a skip button on the story. So like, even though that's what people are asking for, it's kind of bad that they have to ask for that, don't you think? Because the developer should already know, this isn't good.
If that right there isn't an indication that they just want Zenless Zone Zero dead and gone, then I don't know what is. This will be the last.
I mean this genuinely, like, people just want games to be good. Like, straight up. Like, people really do just want games to be good. I really don't think there's any, like any serious people wanting Zenless Zone Zero to die. Like, I think if Zenless Zone Zero, like, I think a lot of people are actually very excited to play 2.0. My community isn't like this. I'll just be real. My community, from what I've seen, once again, maybe there's some business going on behind my back that I haven't noticed, but I think everybody's just kind of excited for 2.0, and people want it to succeed, including myself. I'm going to play it. Hopefully it's great. But yeah, I don't think anybody wants it to die. I mean, where's all the good porn going to come from then? You know what I mean? So my chat is mainly just enlightened gooners. And we all appreciate Zhu Yuan's ass, right? So like, yeah.
Last time I discussed this matter in regards to the Wuthering Waves community and their hate boner towards Zenless Zone Zero. Assuming nothing crazy happens going forward, I will simply look on to enjoying both games' respective patches that are right around the corner. But until then, this was a video I wish I didn't have to make, and I'm clocking out.
Yeah, I don't think you had to make that. I have a feeling that Saint probably debunked the fuck out of that video. I really don't think it's that bad, to be completely honest. And I'll be real, like any hate that Hoyoverse is getting right now, they brought upon themselves. And that's just the truth.